What is up guys, Stephen Harvey here from Plan to Profit, and in today's video we're going to be going through 9 financial goals that you can be doing with your money in 2021. Now whether it's just implementing one of these goals or maybe all 9 of them, which of course I would congratulate you if you manage to do so, you can actually see major changes within your financial situation in your life, whether it's either saving money or whether it's putting money in certain areas or even investing for your future. These goals will have you covered. Now, before we get into the first one, if you guys haven't subscribed already, then you can do so by hitting that subscribe button down below. And of course, if you do enjoy the video along the way, then don't forget to smash that like button. But let's get into it, starting off with number 1, and that is paying down at least one credit card. Now, at certain times of your life, you might have moments where you actually don't have cash on hand and you actually need to just pull out the credit card and swipe away. And I can understand that, and I've actually done that in some moments as well. I in fact have credit cards, and in fact I owe money on one of them, but luckily for me, in terms of the interest rate for it, I don't actually owe any interest for at least either 6 months, or even in some terms I have 1 year. So I actually play these very right. But in fact, if you do have multiple credit cards, like a lot of people say, especially in the United States, they think that this is a great way to boost your credit score and be able to borrow money in the future. But in fact, in New Zealand, it doesn't work that way. It works totally different. In fact, banks don't like it when you actually have multiple credit cards. It's kind of weird. In fact, I would probably see it. I like the American way because I'd actually see it as a way of proving that you can actually pay off and take that responsibility of owing money and being able to pay it down. But from what I've heard here in New Zealand, it works a little bit different. Now with credit cards, these interest rates that you have to return on can actually equal sometimes 17.2% on average, all the way up to 20%, which you're probably wondering if that's a good thing or a bad thing. If you were to compare that with investing in the stock market, which returns an average of about 10% per year, before inflation of course, and that's on a good year as well, then you can actually begin to see that you could actually be missing out on what was like 7 to 10%, which in fact completely just cancels out the gains that you would have seen investing in the stock market, because you suddenly have to pay that money that you've made in the stock market, pay it off in interest that you've owed on your credit card. So if you do have any high interest debt owing, or either credit card or on a personal loan, then it might pay to take a look and see how you can actually start paying that off faster, which in fact actually segues into our second financial goal, and that is tracking your money. Now, there are a lot of different apps out there that you can use in New Zealand and also the United States to track your money. One of the New Zealand apps is called My Budget Pal, and we can have a look on my computer here. If I go by Booster, My Budget Pal by Booster is actually a great way to do it, and you don't even have to sign up to their KiwiSaver. However, if you're in the United States, you can use the Mint app as well. And these will actually allow you to track your bank accounts, like track your ingoings, your ongoings, and also your credit cards. Now, just because you download an app doesn't mean you suddenly become a money saving guru, which is why it's important to proactively track your spending. But also, this moves us on to number 3, and that is making a budget, okay? So track your spending, but also make that budget. Now, you can look into areas of your spending where you could actually be spending less, sort of like spending into categories, and kind of set a hard number limit on spending per category. Now, you can do this by setting an exact number to certain categories. For example, you can say that when you go out to eat, I want to spend no more than $300 for the entire month. So maybe you just go out and you spend $50 at a time, and that allows you to go out a few times a month. Or you can actually bring this down by spend less by saying, I only want to go out once a year to eat, of course. However, this can be some flexibility here. I understand if you do say only once a month, you can have families' birthdays, friends' birthdays, everything like that. So I do advise you to kind of set the rules that you can actually follow, because the thing is, this can actually add up quite significant. And in fact, you may find that when you budget, you can actually save sometimes up to an extra 20% of your money. So for all of you watching, put that as a task to both budget and track your money for at least just 1 month. That's all it has to be. And let me know down below the results that you might see from doing so. Number 4 now is this stuff right here, cash only, okay? So for 1 month, try and spend only cash for that entire month. Sometimes it's just super easy for people just to kind of just grab their credit card and just swipe it and just keep swiping it. and along the way, and it all just suddenly adds up, and you look at your bank account and you seem to have a lot less money than what you thought you had. So what I would say is, walking around this piece of plastic, it kind of is hard for us to conceptualize what isn't ours. But with cash, on the other hand, this is actually a limited resource. So when you have to go into your wallet or into your pocket and you're spending kind of money at a time, all of a sudden you just have no money at all. And so for that month, do it for the entire month, just cash only, and see how that actually affects your spending. At number 5 now, we have something a little bit different, and that is donating at least $100 in 2021. Now, this doesn't have to be cash. This can be anything else, such as valued items, whether it's clothing, or maybe it's actually donating your time by volunteering, whether it's at different shelters or refuges, anything like that. So you don't actually have to donate money to kind of volunteer or anything like that. If you don't have money, that's not a problem. It doesn't stop you from donating. So have a look around and see the opportunity around you. Number 6 now is developing a new mental skill, and that is to learn self-control. Have you ever just walked into a store with no intention on buying anything at all, but you can kind of see something that you like, but you don't actually really need it, but you actually decide to kind of pull out your credit card and just buy it anyway? Well, what I want you to do is actually put down that item, walk out of that store, and open up your banking app. And from there, you're going to transfer the value of said item, whether it's a new t-shirt, or maybe it's just like a new phone case, anything like that. Transfer that value of that item into or from your checking account into your savings account, okay? Because if you thought that you were able to spend that money then and willing to let go of that money, then you should have no problem moving this money into your savings account, or in fact maybe using this money to actually pay off any of that high interest debt, paying off the credit card or paying off that personal loan that you might have. Now at number 7 is starting a side hustle, okay? Or in fact generating at least $1,000 from this side hustle. This could be earned by either driving an Uber on the weekends or renting a room or your house on Airbnb, or maybe you enjoy doing nails and makeup and you can kind of set up your own home studio and be a nail technician. Those are just a few of the many ways that you can actually pick up a skill or something you enjoy doing and monetize it in any kind of way. At number 8 now, we have investing in the stock market. So what you want to do is grab yourself kind of like $50, or maybe it's $100, $150, and then you want to start investing it into any kind of growth stock, okay? It could be Tesla, Apple, anything like that, or even just an ETF, which an exchange traded fund is just a collective of companies, like a basket of them that invests a certain percentage of that money into them. Now, although $100 is not going to kind of make you rich, and to some people it could be a lot of money, but to others it might not seem like a lot. So obviously invest only enough, or only the amount that you can afford to lose in that sense. So maybe it could just be $50. And so if it's not going to make you rich, that's not a problem, because that's not the goal here. If you invest that $100 once a week, if you can afford to do so, then we have something what we call compounding interest. You'll start to see that money grow week on week and month on month, and then eventually at the end of the year you could have what could be $5,000 to $10,000. A nice pool of money for you to do whatever you want. You can either take it out and kind of spend it on something that you kind of have the goal of buying, or you can keep it in there and let it just keep compounding along the way. So not only is this money going to obviously increase and build up and give you a nice little bag of cash, it's actually going to help you develop a more fearless emotion towards investing, and it's actually also going to help you learn about the stock market along the way. So of course, if you do want to get started in the stock market, if you haven't already, especially here in New Zealand, there's 2 platforms that I personally use. I use a few more than that, but the 2 ones that I would recommend starting out on is Sharesies, especially if you want to get into the New Zealand stock market, and then also Hatch. Okay, Hatch is primarily the US stock market, but Sharesies also offers US stock trading as well. Now in the description below, you can actually find links that will reward you with $5 if you want to sign up to Sharesies. You get $5 for doing so. Or if you want to sign up to Hatch, you can actually get yourself $10 once you make that deposit of $100 onto the platform. Now, as we approach the end of the video and before we move on to number 9, I'd like to ask you guys, if you haven't already, then hit that like button. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then you can do so as well down below. And of course, if you have made it this far, then I'd like to thank you for sticking around. And moving on to number 9 now, and that is our very last goal of saving at least 50% of our income. Now, this is something that is certainly probably the most challenging of all the goals, but if you can actually proactively work towards this goal, then you're going to save a lot of money either way. Even if you fall just short of 50% of your income, you're still going to have a lot of money. So get those budgets started, track your spending, and start saving. Now, although we are almost a quarter of the way through 2021, it isn't too late to start implementing these goals. So see how many you can achieve over the course of the year and let me know in the comments below which one you're going to start with. Maybe it's kind of paying down that credit card debt, or maybe you're actually looking at kind of starting a side hustle. Hit those comments down below. I like to interact with you guys as much as you can, so you will of course get a reply from me. If you did enjoy the video, like I said, smash the like button, and of course I'll see you guys in the next one.